So this would be a quick video on my Martini Henry Mark II collection. I've done a couple of these collection videos. People seem to like them. So I pulled out some of my Martini Henrys to do a video on these. These are all Mark IIs or Mark I conversions to Mark II. I do have one more that is not shown here that I'm still working on fitting to a reproduction fore end and buttstock. But these are all the ones I have that are complete. So the lineup here is up top. I have a 1874 Mark II, a 1876 Mark II. So from top to bottom, I have a Enfield dated 1874. Below that are two BSAs. One is dated 1876. Another one's dated 1878. And below that, I have a LSA that is dated 1877. And on the bottom there, I have a BSA that is dated 1889. So go ahead and take a closer look at all these, and I'll tell you more about each one. So starting at the top here, this is a 1874 dated Enfield. You can see by the off-center Mark II mark, this is probably a Mark I conversion. This particular one has a new made buttstock and fore end that I fitted to it. You can see that what I got was pretty shot on it. Basically, for this particular one, the entire wrist was blown out and the fore end was pretty rough, so I went ahead and just replaced them. Now some of the purists won't like this, but I did put a brass rod that I cut down to size and put through there for the cross pin, just because brass won't corrode like steel will. And I fit a reproduction white sling to it. And overall, this one's in really good condition. It's got a really good bore, has very minor pitting on the barrel. So this is definitely a good shooter. I have shot this one at the range and it shoots pretty well. Mainly, pretty comfortable with it because it does have a reproduction stock on it, but otherwise it's in pretty good condition and in all original condition as well. I got this one from IMA as just one of their regular untouched models, and I'm pretty happy with what I got. This next one I got from Atlantic Cutlery while they were still selling these. I believe that they got bought out by IMA, all their inventory, at some point about 10 years ago or so. But this one I went down to the warehouse in Atlantic Cutlery and picked out by hand, and this one's really nice. It didn't have a cracked wrist here, which is pretty rare with their Mark IIs. And overall, just in really nice condition. This one's a BSA, dated 1876, and it looks like it's a Mark I to Mark II conversion as well. Has the original fore end and butt stock on it. It is overall in really nice shape. Moving on to the next one. This is another BSA. This one's dated 1878. This was another one that I got from IMA. The buttstock on this one was completely trashed. We got a big gouge taken out of here, and it's just kind of a little piece of wood down here holding it together. So I also swapped this out with a reproduction buttstock. Both of these buttstocks I got from England, and they're really nice. Really good reproductions. See, it's got a really good receiver marking. This fore end is the original fore end that it came with and is in pretty good condition. It was missing the cross pin, so I went ahead and cut another brass rod, put it through there. Again, they used steel originally, but brass is just going to be a little bit better as far as not damaging any of the wood around it. And you can see there, barrel's in really good shape. Both of these just don't have a lot of pitting on them, which is great. A lot of these Mark IIs, you tend to see really bad wrist cracks, and then sometimes you can see some really bad pitting on the barrels. Moving on to this next one, this is an LSA, dated 1877. LSA was known for their really shallow marks on the receiver, so it's really hard to bring it out with chalk. But you can kind of make out the date there, 77. And this one looks like it's a Mark II. This particular one I got from IMA as one of their cleaned and complete models. Just kind of wanted to see what I would get. You can see the buttstock here. Looks like it was refinished. Does look like there was a bit of a repair here on the wrist. And it came with a checkered butt plate, which is pretty interesting. And the forend could be new production, looks like. I know that looking at the way that some of the holes were drilled, it probably is new production, but it's a really nice condition one. The barrel on this one is immaculate. I didn't see any major pitting at all. So this one's really nice. I would definitely recommend, if you're just gonna get one Mark II, just go for the clean and complete. It really isn't worth the cost just to get something that could just be a gamble. And you're probably gonna have to replace a lot of parts on anyway, which are getting pretty expensive. And lastly, this is an 1889 BSA. It's also a Mark II. This one's in a little rough shape. I know they were saying a lot of the 1880s models that they were getting were pretty rough. You can see there's a big split in the wrist that I have repaired and still working on, kind of like, you know, merging into the rest of the color of the wood there. You can see it's just chock full of markings here on the butt as well. My understanding is that these were made on a contract specifically to get sent over to India and Nepal. Unfortunately, this one was missing the rear band here, which is really hard to find. Still haven't been able to find a replacement for that. And then the barrel on this one's a little bit more pitted, but still something that you could shoot. You can see here it has the stamp here for a strengthened extractor. You see those on a lot of the later production Martinis. So overall, these are in nice shape. All of them came from the Nepal cache, so you're going to take a gamble on what you end up getting. You could get something that's really nice, or you could get something that's going to be a lot of work. If you're looking to get more of a guarantee on that, as far as shootability, I'd recommend getting a Mark IV. They weren't used very much, and they definitely seem to have been stored better. They're also packed a lot better and much better grease than these were. A lot of these, when you get them, they're just kind of dried out. A lot of just kind of hardened grease, whereas the Mark IVs look like they had a much better packing system. These definitely have a lot of history. A lot of these served in the British Army at some point, traveled around the empire, and then eventually ended up in Nepal or India at the end of their service, where they were stored. A lot of these are relegated to native troops once they started coming out with weapons like the Lee Metford that replaced the Martini Henry. So if you're thinking about getting one of these, I'd definitely jump on it. Once IMA dries up, not really sure where you'd even be able to find one of these outside private collections, and I'm sure the prices are going to skyrocket. So if you're interested in one, I'd definitely jump on it. I definitely recommend just getting one that's the clean and complete first, just so you know you're getting a complete, functional Martini Henry, and you're not taking a big gamble on condition, especially for the price these things are sitting at. I remember quite a while ago, well over 10 years ago, these were sitting at about $450 each. Now they've jumped up to about $1,000 each. So the clean and completes are only, I think, a couple $100 more. So it's probably worth it just to go for that. Outside of that, they do make fun projects. If you get the untouched models, there's also some satisfaction in taking apart and cleaning something that hasn't been touched since it was put away well over 100 years ago. As far as ammunition for these, there is a couple places that produce it, but you're going to be paying a lot of money for it. I know a lot of people reload their own ammunition. You can reform cases, or you can go and purchase the cases elsewhere. So it's definitely not something that you're probably going to shoot a lot, but when you do shoot it, they are pretty fun to shoot. I do have some leftover ammo, so I could probably do a range video with one of these at some point in the future. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed going over this collection of Martini Henrys. If you have any questions about them, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'll have some more videos coming out soon of some projects I'm working on, as well as some collection videos. So if you'd like to see more of those, feel free to subscribe and sign up for alerts. And as always, thank you for watching.